When I bought the corner lot on Magnolia Drive, I didn't anticipate it becoming a battleground. The property was legally zoned for mixed use, and I'd done my homework, checked local ordinances, had all the permits, and ensured that everything was in compliance before I even moved in. The front section of the building operated as my wife's small home-based bakery. The back, a simple garage where I stored my off-duty cruiser and equipment. Quiet, legal, and tidy. But in the world of suburban power plays, logic doesn't always win, especially when someone like HOA President Karen Whitmore is involved. Karen was the type of person who thought laminated flyers and threatening language were effective leadership tools. Within a week of our opening the bakery's front door, I started receiving notices taped to my mailbox. One of them read, "Notice. Operating a business within residential boundaries is a violation of HOA policy. Immediate cessation required. $500 fine will be issued weekly until resolved." I raised an eyebrow. The business in question was not only legal, it had passed city inspection, and I'd spoken to the municipal zoning office personally. The bakery only served walk-in customers on weekends and did custom orders through delivery the rest of the week. No loud noise, no crowds, no smells wafting through the neighborhood beyond fresh bread. I tried reasoning with Karen. "Ma'am," I said, standing outside her door one evening in uniform after my shift, "the bakery is within code. This address is grandfathered in for mixed use, and we're not violating any laws." Karen looked at me like I was a criminal. "I don't care what you think is legal," she sneered. "The HOA says no business, and this is a residential neighborhood." "I'm a police lieutenant," I replied calmly. "I enforce laws, and I assure you you're overstepping." She paused, but only for a moment. "You may be a cop, but around here, I maintain order." The fines kept coming. Slips in the mailbox, emails, even one mailed certified. She had printed cease and desist on HOA letterhead and highlighted random clauses from the community handbook that didn't apply. She cited sections about garage sales, noise ordinances, even livestock bans. I decided it was time to end the nonsense. I gathered everything. Copies of the zoning map, my permits, photos showing there were no signage violations, letters from the zoning board, and even a notarized letter from the city business license office confirming the bakery's compliance. Then I did what any lieutenant would do. I documented the harassment. I logged every fine, every interaction. I spoke to neighbors, most of whom liked the bakery, and had no idea Karen was trying to shut it down. At the next HOA meeting, I showed up early, in uniform. Karen looked visibly uncomfortable. During the open floor segment, I stepped up. "I'd like to address the board regarding repeated violations of legal boundaries by the HOA president." I presented everything, calmly, factually. I explained that Karen had been issuing fines with no legal basis. I held up the city-issued zoning compliance certificate. I displayed her emails and notices, which could be interpreted as intimidation. When I finished, I added, "This is a formal warning. Further action will be treated as harassment. And given my position, I don't make that threat lightly." The room was quiet. A few board members nodded. One leaned over to whisper something to Karen, who was now red-faced and gripping her clipboard like a shield. 2 days later, I received a letter from the board. "Dear Lieutenant Mitchell, we apologize for the misunderstanding regarding your property's use. No further fines will be issued, and we recognize the bakery's compliance with city zoning. We appreciate your service to the community." Karen never personally apologized, but her silence since has been a reward in itself. The notices stopped, the fines disappeared, and the neighborhood now comes by every Saturday for cinnamon rolls. Justice, as always, is best served by the facts, and maybe a little bit of law enforcement know-how.